What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Julia. That's Bag Face over there. And holy sh! All right, we're covering episode 6 of Dark Matter called Superposition. And is this show McDonald's? Because I'm loving it.
Oh, that stays. Jules has left the building.
I told you it was corny.
Sorry, I still need a second.
Before we jump into the fun, we will hit 4K subscribers this week, and that means the giveaway will be next week. So all you have to do is subscribe, and we're going to give away $50 on Venmo, and you can have one item of your choice from our merch store. Subscribe to have a chance. It's going to happen this week, and we'll announce it at the end of next week's Dark Matter video. All right, let's jump right into it. So we get a lot of answers this week. A lot of answers. It's getting crazy. A lot of things happen. Some things we predicted came true in our previous videos. So go rewatch them. If this is your first time watching our Dark Matter coverage, go check those out because some things came true. Starts out with Daniela. She's painting again, like Jason 2 wanted her to do. He wants to tailor her life to fit his life.
It's not finished. Go away.
How's it feel painting again?
And we see things with therapy later on that he's not completely happy because he's just a psychopath. He says the deal is done. He shows her the phone of all the money they just made.
Deal is done.
These numbers don't even make sense.
We don't know how much it is. I guess it's around $50 million, right? Because that's how many ampules he had. There's a viewer who said since he stole 2 bags, that he stole 100 ampules. I don't know if that math is correct, if he saved some for himself, but we see later on that he seals up
He
the
obviously
box.
did.
Yeah.
He had to
But
have
he's
had some left at least.
He seals the box later on, so I don't know what he would need him for. Maybe you can unseal it at some point, but we'll get to it when it comes up. So then he takes Charlie to a skate park where he's meeting a girl that he likes there. We'll come back to that because there's something big that happens there. He meets up with Leighton, and apparently Leighton's all trained up. He's ready to go. He's dressed up.
You look ready for an adventure. You like that? It's a vibe, right?
He guesses completely correct why Jason is in this world now. He's like, oh, it was the girl, wasn't it? That's why. That's the thing you messed up and you wanted to fix. And he's like, fuck you. He sends Leighton off. Maybe that's the last time we see that Leighton?
No, he's coming back for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's he going to get back though?
Oh,
Sure.
I have a theory already.
Oh, I want to hear that. I do think that it's got to somehow be unsealed.
I think Jason 2 is definitely going to unseal it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how.
How
So
do
I would
you
like to hear your theory? But
How do you have access to the entire multiverse and then shut yourself off from it? It kind of gave it away, I guess. We'll get into it later, but there's a whole spot in the episode that gives it away that he'll be the one that reopens the box.
Okay. All right. Well, when you're ready to...
I think I know what you're
things,
talking about. Okay.
I have no idea, so I'm excited to learn that. Listen to the end to find out what Bagface is talking about. All right. This is what we called correctly, that he was going to mess up with the peanut allergy. He gives Charlie peanut butter ice cream, or at least had nuts in it, and he has an allergic reaction. He's freaking out. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh.
Doesn't look like. This?
Give me the EpiPen. And Charlie stabs himself with it. Go to the hospital. He's okay. Daniela's pissed. She goes, how could you forget something like that?
How much thinking has to happen to remember he has an allergy?
And that's when the wheels start to really spin in her mind. And it's like she knows at this point, but later on this episode, she definitely knows. She noticed the track marks on his arm. So it's like, all right, I need to start doing some detective work here. They're back at the house. Jason 2 is trying to get some sexy time. And Danielle is like, what are you doing? Shoots it down. Then she's like, by the way, when'd you start flossing? Because apparently Jason 1 would only floss before the dentist and stuff like that. And he's like, I just want to take care of my gums. Is that a problem? And she's like, no, just an observation. So I think this entire episode, she knows. Once the peanut thing happened, she's like on it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Yeah,
tries to piece
I
it
still
together.
think she was skeptical before that, but I think
too.
that set it in stone for her. But my
Yeah.
thing is, I'm wondering like who she thinks he is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
does she think he's like a different Jason?
Right.
How would that be like her first conclusion? You know what I mean?
That would be so hard to comprehend what's actually going on. Like, how could you even fathom to guess that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's-
Exactly.
So that's why, she reaches out to Ryan later. We'll get to it. But back to Jason and Amanda, he wrote down the village tap, and then he writes down, no, the red sign, which I thought was orange, but apparently it's red. Then he noticed something's wrong again. He goes back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. And then he thinks he found it, but then he goes to his house and the door's red. And he's like, not my wife, not my dog, Not my door, not my house, not my world.
Bunch of Chicago's that are not quite right. Almost, but none of them are mine.
He's pissed off. And this is multiple Chicago's later. And they're running through ampules at this point. And they're running low. We start to see the count, and we get a number later on in the episode of how many they exactly have left. But at this point, they're not ready to go back to the box. They want a good night's sleep.
We're getting a real place to sleep tonight.
So they decide to go to a hotel. And this is where a viewer commented, and I want to talk to you guys. Do you think Amanda is holding Jason 1 back from getting to his world? Because it is also reading her subconscious when they go through the door, right? It's a joint effort, right? So do you think
Unintentionally, I could see that.
right. Because do you think she kind of like loves him and wants to be with him?
Yeah, because
Definitely.
he's the kind of Jason she wanted her Jason to be.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like everything that she wanted. So good call there. Take credit in the comments if you were the one that said that. And they're getting along at dinner, and then they dance, and then we see them back at the hotel, and they're cuddling, and they're getting a little too close for comfort. She's like, do you want me to go to the other bed? He's like, I don't want you to, but I kind of need you to. So it kind of seems like the sexual tension's really building between those two, which I didn't see coming on Jason's part. Did you guys?
Yeah.
I didn't so much, but it makes sense when it happened because, you know, they're going through a whole lot together, and that's the only person that he has to confide in, and they're kind of
who else is going to be able to like relate to what he's going through, you know?
exactly.
It's like
Okay.
trauma bonding.
So I guess we'll have to pay attention to that as time moves forward. And I guess there is a possibility, I think it's unlikely at this point, but I guess there is a possibility that he doesn't make his way home, but I assume he will. And they do end up together. I guess that is a possibility, although a small chance, in my opinion. So then Jason 2 is having a therapy session with Amanda 1, Amanda 2. What do we call this Amanda? This is Amanda from Jason 1's world. And he goes to see her. The scene goes back and forth between other things, so we'll talk about them too in a moment. She's curious how he found her, and it's kind of funny what he says. But Danielle is talking to Blair about all of his changes. And at first, Blair's like, all right, so he dresses better, he's rich, he wants to have more sex. What's the issue here?
Oh, hire a divorce lawyer.
I know they're tiny things. There are just so many of them.
Keep going.
I don't see an issue here.
Can't blame her there.
From Blair's point of view, but then she's like, and he also has track marks. And Blair's like
Track marks. You really buried the lead.
that's not good to have track marks in any situation. So she suggests that she follows him. And at first, Danielle is like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just go talk to him. But of course, she ends up following him later. We'll talk about it in a moment. And then Jason 2 plans a night out for them. He has a suit on. He has a dress laid out for her. And they go to a charity auction for like paintings and such, like an art charity auction. And he brings her around, says, turn around. And it was the piece that she was working on. But she's pissed because one, it's not complete. She wasn't happy with the product because it wasn't done yet. Two, she hasn't painted in a while, so she's not completely confident in herself. And three, she didn't want all her friends to see this and be like, I don't even know if I want to go back to painting.
Take me home.
What's the matter?
I want to go.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You're overstepping.
And she makes the point that like he went to her friends. They felt like they had to put it up.
Yeah.
So like she feels like
Yeah.
they did it out of pity almost. And I would
Exactly,
I
yeah.
would be so embarrassed by that.
But this line right here, he says, I want you to be happy. And she's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
you want
want-
you to be happy.
Please, you want you to be happy.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she's like really on to him at this point. And then, of course, this is when he drops her off at home. She acts like she's going to go inside, but no, she gets in the other car. She follows him. He goes right to the storage locker that he has all of his supplies where he was following Jason 1 up until the point that he abducted him. So he leaves. She sneaks on by. She tries to get in, but she can only get it up a little bit with her heel holding it up. But she does manage to pull out an ampule. And she's like, okay, what's this? Brings it to Ryan. And Ryan's like, it's a little small sample, but yeah, I can figure out what this is.
Can you sequence it?
It's not much of a sample, but yeah.
So that's where Ryan comes into play with this. And now at this moment, I'm like, oh shit, he's in trouble. You guys get that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not looking good for him at that moment because now he's involved. And we saw what happened in the other world when he was involved. It ended up with Daniela being killed. So it's like when those two work together, something bad kind of happens, especially when Jason's involved. Now we're back to Amanda and Jason. Amanda needs time for herself. They're going to meet back at the box at night. He goes and meets a blonde hair version of Daniela, and he kind of asks her out for drinks or whatever, just to hang out. And she shoots him down kindly.
That's you letting me down, easy. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So
Can I just point out, blonde Jennifer Connelly?
smoke show.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Good God. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, smoke show. Yeah, I love it. So, then Amanda, she sees her other self with her happy family, with her husband, with her son. And I think this really kind of saddens her a lot. And then they meet back up at the box and they're like, hey, we're running out of the drug. We need to go deeper. This isn't working. We need to figure out a way to go deeper in order to fix this. And he's like, is it impossible? She's like, it's not impossible. We just need to try a different strategy.
I don't think it's enough.
I'm doing the best I can.
I know you are, but I think you need to go deeper.
We're really running low at this point. I think they said they had 10 left. So not a lot. Then he goes out and she's all worried. She's like calling to try to find out where he is. Then he comes in and we saw this is when they were at a different world, not blonde hair Daniela. And he saw himself with her and he turned out to follow them to the movies. He sat in the back theater and he's like, oh, this is what Jason did to me when he abducted me. He must have followed me around, found my routine.
And I started to understand how your Jason did what he did to me. He must have watched me for fucking weeks.
And it was weird to be in that moment, but that's how he did it. And he thinks they're getting closer. She says it's basically impossible. Yeah, I wrote it down. They only have 10 ampules left.
It's about finding my Daniela.
We have 10 ampules left. 10.
And they really need to try something different. Back to Jason 2. He's talking with Amanda again. He says he wants to leave. He has everything he wants, and he's still not happy.
This is that scene I was talking about.
Okay.
Where there's a moment where she says, maybe you're just the person that likes to be in the hallway. She says something along those lines.
You talk about all these doors, and maybe that's where you feel most comfortable, living in a corridor.
That he's afraid of commitment. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, he's going to seal the box. And then he's going to be the one that's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And he's going to break open that box. And I feel like Jason's going to be waiting on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That'll be how that happens. You think he beats the shit out of him?
I hope so.
Be pretty sick. He just cuts through the concrete, opens the door, and Jason 1's like, surprise, bitch.
Damn.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Like,
yeah. So they're talking about the box. She calls it a metaphor. That's when she was like, how'd you find me? He's like, oh, it's an ex-girlfriend. It's a long story. And of course we know it's because they dated in his world. So that's what he was talking about. So then Ryan pulls up on Jason too.
Hey, did you think I wouldn't find out, man?
Right there. I'm like, Ryan, no.
no.
You're fucking with a really dangerous guy right now and you have no idea about it. So he talks to him. He's like, what are you, stealing my work?
Is that why you didn't want to work with me? Because you're too busy stealing my shit?
No one knows how to do this shit but me. What the hell? You stealing my work? They talk about the different applications. Ryan talks about what he was trying to develop it for, which was for curing stuff, right?
Replacement for general anesthesia and then pain management.
Yeah, stuff like that. And he's like, well, what's your application? He's like, I'll show you. And I was like, uh-oh, Ryan, I wrote that down. So he takes him to the box.
What the fuck is that? It's my secret project.
That he takes the drug first. Ryan's like, is it safe? He's like, yeah, I've done it 100 times.
Yeah, I've done it over 100 times.
Gives it to Ryan. They go in the box. They see the corridor. And he's like, holy shit, where am I right now?
Are you saying I'm in a quantum state right now? Yeah.
And he gives them the whole spiel. And I completely understand it at this point. They really do a good job of making sense of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Of not dumbing it down, but making it.
Just putting it in not science terms.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you realize, I kind of realized this at the same point. It's almost word for word the same explanation that they use at the end of Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
Almost word for word. It's like, it's the fifth dimension, but it's crafted so that our brains can understand it. And I was like, oh, that's that's so neat. Yeah.
That's true. Good point. And Interstellar is my favorite movie.
There you go.
Yours too, right?
Oh yeah.
You guys have never seen it.
Oh, you got to say it. So they go through the door. They go through a door and they get to a Chicago that has northern lights, and it looks like a very beautiful and prosperous Chicago. And Jason even says something. He's like,
It's a kinder and more progressive place than our world.
he's like, hey, how about you give me a phone? And Ryan's kind of in awe. He like drops to his knees and he's not thinking anything at this moment that he's in danger. But once he grabs his phone, he's fucked. So as Jason's backing away towards the box, it kind of clicks in Ryan's head. So I technically was right that Ryan would figure it out first, because Ryan said,
You're not the Jason I know, are you?
Technically, you were
First
right.
person to figure it out on his own. Yeah.
yeah, technically he did figure it out himself. And he says, hey, I won't be a problem. I won't be a problem. But it's too late. Jason shuts the door, leaves him there. Doesn't have a phone, has no money. I don't know how he's going to get around. Will we see Ryan again?
Do anything for him though?
True.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe it's like the proof that he's from a different world.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. But it feels weird for Jason to hang on to the phone because it's proof that he had something to do with Ryan disappearing.
Right, exactly.
The second it rings, that's how cops find missing people, whereas they figure out like what is the closest cell phone tower. So that felt kind of weird. But also, I don't know if we're going to get into theories, but I feel like Ryan is also going to come back with a vengeance. Because
I think so too.
Yeah.
How?
Because he's the only person that can make the drug.
Understands what is going on, like how the drug works.
And he didn't.
So yeah, he could totally make it himself.
Dude, I just thought of something so cool. All right. Do you remember the moment in Endgame when Tony Stark and Captain America, they're out of the pin particle and they come up with an idea to find more pin particles and the Tesseract at the same time?
You trust me? I do. You're calm. Here we go.
So they go back to New Jersey and they get more, right? What if there's a moment where Ryan makes the drug, Jason, One, and Amanda run out of ampules at this point.
Oh my God, and they show up in that universe.
Oh.
And they find each other. And Ryan has more of the drug. And they think they're fucked. They're like, we're out. But Ryan comes in.
I think you win this show because that has to be what happens.
Wouldn't that be sick?
I was literally going to say, like, what if while he's still beating on the door, that's the next one Amanda and Jay open?
That
you
go.
Yeah.
That could be.
And they could work together.
Oh,
figure it out together.
Oh,
yeah.
Also, what happened to other Leighton? What happened to Leighton 2? Did he just die?
Yeah,
he's gone.
They just haven't shown him in two or three episodes.
he just fucked off.
I feel like he's gonna come back into play at some point as well.
I
feel like he will
come back.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the crazy Leighton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's loose cannon. It keeps things interesting.
So let us know what you think about that Ryan theory, and if Ryan, Jason, One, and Amanda are gonna find each other somehow, and then they'll team up to figure out how to get back home. I think that's very plausible, and I like that theory a lot. I got a little chills thinking about it. All right, so then we meet this character, Anthony. He's Leighton's guy, and he seals up the box to end the episode. So that's what we got this week. I thought it was better than last week. I think it's getting better every week. That's why I had that corny McDonald's line in the beginning. Sorry about that. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
It's grown on me a lot. I was a little iffy about it at first.
No, I'm stoked on this show. I'm trying really hard not to look up spoilers because I know there's a book.
There's the book's out.
I want to so bad. It's taking all of my effort.
I don't even watch like previews or like trailers because I don't want any spoilers.
Yeah, when we were covering Silo, people were really cool about it in the comments. They were like, I read the book, I like your theories, but maybe it's not gonna happen. But they didn't spoil anything.
That's sweet.
People seem to be the same in the same boat for this show. They just like hearing our theories, and they're not going to spoil it with whatever happens in the book. And plus, they don't always follow books word for word. They change shit. So you never know what's going to happen. But okay, big announcement. We have a lot of shit coming out on this channel. We're going all in. We're going to be covering more than we've ever covered. So get ready to see a lot more of us three. We're going to be covering this show. We're going to be covering Jake Gyllenhaal's Presumed Innocent. That starts next week. Our first video will be up either Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to be covering The Boys Season 4. The video is going to be up either next Friday or Saturday. And then starting episode 3, we're going to be covering House of the Dragon. So basically 4 shows at once we're going to be doing. We've never done that on the channel before. We figure, why not? Let's go for it and let's have some fun. So subscribe and be a part of our journey for all of those shows, or if you want to just pick and choose which ones you want to follow. But again, we're going to cross that 4K subscriber mark this week. So someone's going to win. Why not be you? subscribe to give yourself a chance. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, guys.
I just think that I need you to.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
That just happened.